Everybody, thank you for joining us here on Beach Boss. It's our final episode. It's so sad to say. I'm your host, Michelle Yu, and generally I've got some guests, but it appears to be just me right now. Oh, here they come. Ray Paulick and our final contender, the sensei himself, not Mr. Miyagi, but Mr. Marshall Gramm, who took down the 2020 BCBC this year. So, Ray, it's kind of like every week we've just gotten harder and harder for you. Marshall, did you bring your baseball bat? Because it's all about beating Ray.
I hope so. I hope I'm going to, get to take the last shot, put him down for good and end the meet off with a bang. So.
All right. So in case you are just watching for the first time, basically every week, well, every day you can play to beat Ray. Your handicapping prowess versus Ray Paulick's. But every week we bring in a celebrity handicapper to do the same on the show for Beach Boss. So far, I think Ray is minus $10,978, and every guest almost has cashed against him. So Ray, so far, even though you are our Beach Boss, I feel like you're like the beach minion.
Yeah, thank God it's cold here, and there's not that many people on the beach to see that the Beach Boss is just straggling along. He's not doing very.
I want to let me look, Ray. What is your official total? Do you know on like the Beat Ray contest against the world?
That's an everyday contest. I'm in the red.
Minus $377 and 20 cents. That's not. I think last week you were like minus 4 something. So you must.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is the horses that I've bet that have won have all gotten hammered. Like yesterday's winner of the red carpet got bet down to even money, and he was 7-2 on the line, I think. So I can't even catch a break when I pick a winner. What can I say?
Well, so Marshall, you have to try to beat Ray, and we're going to give you not one chance, but 2 chances today.
There we go.
Talking about the Saturday card as we get to closing weekend here at Del Mar. We're going to do 2 races. Now, Ray, since you're so far down the totem pole, I'm obviously going to let you go first. So let's over to Saturday. We're going to go to race number 7. It is the Grade 2 Seabiscuit Handicap, mile and a 16th on the turf course. What you doing with your big fat Husky here?
Well, these are both tough races, and which is why they chose them, obviously. And I'm going with a long shot here. The horse that I really like is making his second start in the United States for Paulo Lobo, and that's Imperador. He finished second in his debut at Churchill Downs, an allowance race. He ran okay, but he had not been out since earlier this year in his native Argentina. This is a horse that finished 4th in South America's greatest race, the Carlos Pellegrini, and he went wire to wire going a mile and a quarter after that. He's got tactical speed and he can stay. Paul Lobo has done really well in the past. He's kind of in a resurgence in his career. So I'm going 50-50 on this horse, who's 15-1, 50 to win and 50 to show on Imperador, who is being ridden by Drayden Van Dyke. I think he'll have him in a forward position. It's going to be a trip race, I think, in a lot of ways, and I think he's in a good position to get a good trip. So
I like the fact that you're going with the price horse, and you're still sticking with the Kinchin angle of throwing that show money in there. And that could definitely cash in for you here, Ray. I like this pick. This is solid from you.
Well, what the others have been solid. They just don't run.
Some of them. I mean, some of them kind of stunk.
Some have been bad. No, you're right. Some have been bad.
Marshall, what about you here for race number 7 on Saturday? The first of 2 races we're going to be hitting up for the Beach Boss Challenge this week.
Well, so there are a lot of interesting horses to choose from here. I nearly landed on another Twist of Fate. He has a great turf pedigree, going first time dirt to turf for Peter Miller, from an all-turf family. Scat Daddy on top, and then the second dam has Nebraska Tornado that won the French Oaks, and all sorts of turf influence. But I ended up going with the same horse Ray did.
What? No.
So I don't know whether this horse suddenly has no chance. I would guess that's more likely that it has no chance for the bet of the century, but I liked a lot of the same things that Ray saw. This makes me quite a bit nervous. I went back and watched a lot of those Latin American replays. This horse won the Argentine 2000 Guineas, and this horse is a big turn of foot. When it ran its first race stateside in the U.S., it ran in that optional 3 other than at Churchill. There was more given the ground. The horse is more forwardly placed, but the horse has a much bigger turn of foot. I think will adjust much better to West Coast racing. And again, we're getting this huge price. And so I went $100 to win. And so I didn't.
Got more conviction.
I just want, I want to turn this into $1,500, $2,000. And so I'd like to beat Ray that way, as opposed to, the horse finishing 4th and we both get 0. So I don't know. Makes me. I don't know whether your listeners should take this as an inspiration and should run to the windows and bet Imperador, or think that if we both landed on him, he's almost a certain toss.
I feel like now you guys should both take $2 and play another horse.
Well, there's a lot of other horses in the race that I like, but I just saw, this looks like a price race to me.
I like One Bad Boy. He's 12-1.
Okay.
Yeah, I would take another Twist of Fate as my other horse. But look, I think this race is wide open, and that's why I was price seeking. So it's just ending up on the same horse. So be it. I love this horse. I can't wait to bet this horse.
Well, I love the fact that you took him at least $100 to win, because, at that instance, you have some conviction there, and you're not being wishy-washy like Ray, betting him like here and here and these little spots. Like, you're like, he's going to win at a price, and Ray's like, he's just going to hit the board at a price, I feel like. No, all right, he's gonna
win. I'm gonna get $1,500. That'll be that. If that's the way I beat Ray, that'll be the perfect way to win.
All right, let's flip the page. Then we're gonna go race number 9. It's the Grade 1 Hollywood Derby, 9 furlongs on the turf course there to close out the Saturday card. This is another really good race. 3-year-olds lining up here, and Ray, again, I'm gonna let you go first. What are you doing with your $100 in the Hollywood Derby?
Well, again, I think the trip is everything in this race. When they come out of the infield chute, I think it's really disadvantaged to be on the outside. And Smooth Like Strait is a horse I landed on here, 100 to win on him. I know he's one of the favorites. Rispoli just rides this turf course so well. He puts his horses into contention early. This is a horse with speed, doesn't have to be on the lead, but I think he's going to secure a really good spot. And there's some really good talent in this race, but most of it's on the outside, and I think they're going to struggle to get the right trip. So I had a hard time because I don't like to play horses that are going to be favored if I don't have to. But I went with Smooth Like Strait here.
100 to win. So there's the conviction we were looking for from Ray on Smooth Like Strait. Marshall, what was harder, by the way, handicapping for the BCBC or handicapping for Beach Boss?
Well, I think this is definitely harder because he gave me two turf races, and in the Breeders' Cup, I usually called up a buddy of mine and said, "Hey, what are you going to do in these turf races? I don't know anything about them." So I'm a dirt guy. I'm an East Coast bias guy. So putting me on the turf and putting me at Del Mar challenge. I love. I've not been to Del Mar. I love betting the big days there, but I need to come out, maybe next year for Breeders' Cup, but I really want to get out in August for the summer meet.
I picture Marshall on the phone now, by the way, like, who's this guy, Peter Miller? Does he win a lot of races?
Well, it is.
Chad Brown's in there, though.
It is different, right? With the East Coast bias, the West Coast racing comes on when my kids are at home or when I have other things going on, and so unfortunately, I don't get to bet your all's excellent racing enough. But these are great cards with huge fields, and really, this is our last big betting race, weekend of the year, and so. In this race, another wide open race, and you would think I'd take my East Coast bias and go with go with Chad Brown or go with Clement, but I ended up going with Smooth Like Strait.
Oh no!
So
are you guys kidding me? By the way, for anybody watching at home, they don't know in advance what everybody else is picking. This is when they find out. You guys are crazy.
So, I have one question for Marshall. If you and I ended up on the same two horses, how on earth did you win the BCBC?
I know this is
that was going to be my question for sure. Obviously, it was the turf person that he's calling. Maybe you're the turf person, right? Was he calling you to help him out with the turf races at BCBC?
I think once Oaklawn Park puts in a turf course, he'll become a turf person.
No, Oaklawn has the perfect combination of dirt and turf. And so I don't know why they need to add don't know why they need to add a turf course. And I don't know why Oaklawn can't host the Breeders' Cup. I mean, if they had dirt races on synthetic, why can't they have turf on dirt? But anyway, that's me. Needless to say, we've got a huge field here. I went with Smooth Like Strait. A lot of the same reasons Ray had. I really like this. These races early Churchill in May and June. When horses were finally getting to start up again, where no tracks were open. Oaklawn was the only track open, Oaklawn and Gulfstream for a while, then Churchill open. And so these big competitive races that Smooth Like Strait came over and won the War Chant. And then he was pace compromised in the American Turf on the Derby undercard. They went really fast and he got cooked. The other two horses that were up with him, finished last and second to last. He held on and ran a game fourth, and I think he's going to be able to sit right off the pace. And I don't fear these East Coast horses. The whole series, the whole turf series in New York wasn't just as strong as it was. So I'm going to go 100 to win on Smooth Like Strait. So I guess it's really going to come down to, Imperador. Not
if he's going to win or run
third. So for me to win this, Imperador's got to win. Right. So that's going to be the key in this whole thing.
Wow. I can't believe it. I feel so, I don't want to say anticlimactic, but I can't believe after all this hype that there was some handicapping going on that you guys end up on the same horses. I like Decorated Invader in there because I've been a fan of his all along. And Scarto. I'm going to play Scarto across the board. I'm going to be splitting up my money there.
We've almost canceled each other out and cursed both of these horses. So I feel like there's no shot. Usually when I was studying for the BCBC, I listened to all sorts of podcasts and watched all sorts of previews. And as soon as someone got on my horse, I started thinking, well, maybe I'm not on the right horse, right? If everyone else likes this horse, maybe I ought to jump ship. So This would really make me a little bit nervous, Ray. All that being said is I'm high on Imperador. I can't wait to bet that horse and may parlay that into Smooth Like Strait. I think these are two good choices. So I'd like to think that two great minds think alike, as opposed to we curse these horses.
Let's ask you guys then, with this kind of hype, and obviously you're not the only handicappers in the world. There might be other people looking at that. Do you think that Imperador is going to be over or under 5-1?
5-1.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna be over. He's gonna be
over for sure.
I think he'll be 8-1, 10-1.
Okay.
Something like that.
All right. I didn't know how much play he was going to be taking. We need some kind of a tiebreaker. I think Claire was right. Let's see. What can we do for a tiebreaker? Well, yeah, I feel like you guys should each pick one other horse in here, just like a $2 horse.
In which race?
In the Hollywood Derby, since you're both on Smooth Like Strait.
I'll let Marshall go first because we'll probably end up in the same horse again.
Well, I'm going to take Decorated Invader. I've always thought he was super talented. He doesn't. His last two, even money and 4-5. It won the 2 and 4-5, not winning those. But I think he had excuses, and I think he may just be more talented than these, even though he's breaking from the 10 hole. So I'm gonna go with the likely chalk if I try to win.
We're gonna go head to head for this one, okay? So it's not like a money situation. It's just gonna be head to head for a tiebreaker. So Smooth Like Strait doesn't win and Imperador doesn't hit the board, then this will be a head to head tiebreaker. So Marshall has Decorated Invader, good choice. Ray, who's gonna be your head to head horse?
And I'll go with Brown on the green, Domestic Spending.
Okay.
I know he finished behind Decorated Invader before, but I think he's a horse on the way up. I think Decorated Invader has maybe peaked earlier this year.
All right. Sounds good. That's a nice little head-to-head to wind it up just in case we end up with everything off the board. Marshall, I hope that you get out to Del Mar pretty soon. We can have a whole tip sheet for you when you come out here to visit on what to do, where to go, where to eat, how to play. I mean, when you come out here, you're going to do some handicapping beforehand to really make sure you can sink your teeth into the cards that are offered here during summer?
Well, I'm going to be very careful. I know that going to a new track and taking in everything can be damaging to the wallet. So I'm sure when I come, I'll be studied up and be very careful. I've learned that when I get to the live track experience, I can sometimes get sucked in and not be wise about my money management. But again, I hope to get out there. It's on the tracks I've wanted to cross off my list. Unfortunately, this has not been a year where I've been able to cross off any tracks. But I'm hopeful that next, I really want to see Del Mar in the summer. I want to do that. It's a big track that's missing that I've not been to. I've been to 70 plus racetracks and
Wow.
not Del Mar. So I've got to get out there.
Well, if you don't make it for summer, don't forget Breeders' Cup is here next
Cup.
year. So there's always going to be that. We'll see if you can't repeat your title as BCBC champion, which you were this year over at Keeneland. Just some housekeeping very quickly for everybody out there. Don't forget to do your Sing with Bing renditions. All you have to do is shoot yourself, shoot your kid, shoot your dog, shoot your horse, singing with Bing, and then hashtag Sing with Bing, tag Del Mar Racing and all of those. Whoever has the best video is going to win tickets to Breeders' Cup 2021 when it is held right here where the surf meets the turf. Also, it is closing weekend, so we'll have mandatory payouts coming in on Sunday. And don't forget, there is a special post time on Sunday, 12 noon for first post. It's been 12:30 the other day, so 12 noon on Sunday for closing day. Thank you, Marshall, for joining us. As usual, Ray, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and best of luck to both of you guys in the Beach Boss Challenge this week.
Thanks
so much.